Hey everybody, welcome to the Patty G Show. I'm your host, Patty G. We are back for another episode of the show. This week we have Caroline from Caroline's Cookies. If you haven't tried them yet, they're coming to Baton Rouge soon, or if you're listening to this later, they're already here, and it's very exciting, but they're based out of Lafayette, Louisiana, and we're super excited to hear her story, her journey, how she went from baking in her mama's kitchen to now having 2 storefronts, like in a short period of time. And she's in her very, very early 20s, by the way. She is an absolutely incredible person, phenomenal individual, and I'm more excited to get to her story. But before we do that, I want to give a wonderful shout out and thank you to the amazing folks and partners that bring you our show each and every week. Building 5, Mimosa Handcrafted Jewelry, Falaya Real Estate, Lake Men's Health Center, Horizon Financial Group, Gage, Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you know our outfit of the day is always brought to you by McLavy Ltd. Without further ado, Caroline, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm excited to hear your journey. I mean, you are just crushing it on all fronts, storefronts, social media fronts, and pop-ups.
That's the goal. I'm glad to hear you think so.
Was it last week or a couple weeks ago, you just had 52 minutes, you sold out at a pop-up?
Yes, so last Saturday, and we had a pop-up Friday, we sold out, and I had never done 2 in the same week, and I was like, oh no, I hope this goes well. It's only one way to find out, I guess. So we did a pop-up Friday, and we sold out, and then Saturday, we did a pop-up outside, and like, this might be a bad idea, it's like almost 100 degrees, I'm wearing a gray shirt. Anyways, we sold out in 53 minutes, so holy
smokes.
It was our fastest pop-up yet. It was me and my mom, we did it together.
So, I mean, for those that are listening and have either lived under a rock all these years and never heard of you, who are you and what do you do?
Well, I'm Caroline Merryman. I'm the owner of Caroline's Cookies. We are currently located in Lafayette. That's our first location. I'm in the process of opening location number 2 here in Baton Rouge. And I don't even know where to begin with my story. I never do.
Your first cookie, when'd you make it?
Yeah, okay. I really wonder, and I'm thankful for a mom who took pictures of everything growing up. Anytime I ask for pictures, she sends me like 20. So I have a lot of my memories are based off of pictures, like ones I can't remember. But I started baking cake mix, cakes and things like that, cupcakes, cake balls, brownies when I was 7 or 8. And no one in my family knew how to bake. They liked to eat the desserts, but they couldn't help me with anything baking-wise. So I learned everything off of YouTube and the back of a cake mix box or Googling everything on my little iPad. And I would video everything I did, too. I pretended to be on a cooking show.
You filmed yourself?
Oh, yes. I wish I had that iPad really badly. I have some of the videos, but we have videos of me being like, hey, this is Caroline. I pretend I'm on a show, like, teaching you how to cook.
Wait. Okay, so you filmed true cooking. Did you ever upload them anywhere? Or is it just on this
I don't
iPad?
think I was old enough to do YouTube. Thank God my mom didn't let me do it either, because that would have been bad. But it was just on my iPad.
Caroline's Cookie Channel like that, or Caroline's Cooking Channel.
It was like before TikTok. I was doing TikTok, I guess, because I was doing little videos.
Okay, so you had this just instinct and natural draw towards baking at a very young age.
Yes, and I always say I wasn't athletic or musical or anything like that. I just liked to eat, and my mom was on this organic kick, and so there was nothing in the house that was healthy, so I had to make it, obviously,
Right.
And so when there was something unhealthy, we would just eat it all like crazy.
It's like the grocery trips when you come back and you have all these snacks.
Oh, and you just sit there and eat it.
This is for the week, and then it's gone that night.
That's
it just
how
kind
it
of
is.
happens.
Yeah.
So you go through these box mixes, and when do you start branching out to cookies and developing that skill?
So honestly, all through high school, I was just doing, actually, I guess during high school, I started doing homemade cupcakes, and I would stuff them and bring them to my friends' houses. I remember my friend Mallory, I always would bring cupcakes to her house. And then senior year of high school, I graduated in 2020. That's when I really started doing cookies. Don't ask me why. That's a lie. I was during quarantine, and I remember I was putting cookies in friends' mailboxes, and I remember I couldn't shove a cake in their mailbox because this is during the pandemic.
So hang on. So they were ordering, were you selling cookies at this time?
I graduate high school during the pandemic. There's nothing to do. I'm stuck at home. I'm running and working out, but I'm also baking cookies like crazy. So on my Snapchat private story, I would post maple cookies or hot cocoa cookies. So then I would say, slide up if you want to try them. And my friends, it was for free. I would just go bring them their mailbox. And I remember telling my mom, cookies are so versatile. You can do any flavor with them. You can really do anything with them. And I could put them in a bag and throw them in their mailbox because we weren't hanging out with people at the time. And so I always said, you can't just throw a cupcake or a cake in the mailbox, Right. But cookies you can do that with. You can freeze them. You can put them in your car and drive right crazy. It won't mess them up.
Yeah, cookies are they kind of travel a little bit better.
Yes,
Cupcakes
way
you
better.
can get smushed way
Oh yeah,
too
cupcakes
quickly.
you have to have like cupcake holders. It's a whole ordeal because I would bring them to in 8th grade. I remember I would sit on the bus with like 2 stacks of cupcake holders on my lap, and I would be like, oh my gosh, and we'd hit a bump. I'm like, they're gonna mess up the frosting.
So you were like bringing your baked goods to your school.
Yeah, that was a regular thing. I would bring cupcakes, and Oreo balls were always a favorite, which are so easy. You don't even have to bake them. You really can't mess up. You don't even need to follow a recipe for those. But anyways, so summer of 2020, graduate high school. I'm about to go into college. Not really excited for college, not gonna lie. And I got a cookie like recipe book. So then I started trying every single recipe in the book. But they were thin cookies, which is fine. I'm going to eat any cookie put in front of me. Right. But I remember my brother-in-law showed me Levin cookies in New York City. And he's like, why don't you make like a cookie like that? So I kind of put my own spin on it. And after a lot of gross cookies, I came up with a recipe that was my idea of a perfect cookie. And it was a thick and gooey cookie. So then I started giving those to friends. And they're like, this is delicious. But like, again, nothing special. Like anyone can really bake. We just didn't think anything of it. So fast forward to like, I want to say August. My brother had just moved home or he had been living in Texas, and he was in Lafayette, and he was kind of changing career paths. So he started getting into photography and design, and he took pictures of my cookies for fun. I was like, this is cool. Like, we have pictures of my cookies. He had done that previously with my charcuterie boards, which is something else I did for fun. I just did.
Pause on the cookies. Hang on.
No,
pause on the cookies. Charcuterie boards?
I just did them for fun.
Okay.
And I would bring him to places, but it was nothing like Caroline's cookies.
This was no, Caroline charcuterie.
No, this wasn't like that. But Reese would take pictures of it, so it was just normal. Okay. He was getting into photography, and the charcuterie boards are pretty, so the same with the cookies. And he's like, can I make you a logo? And I'm like, sure. Caroline's cookies, like that's what they are. They're my cookies. I don't think anything of it. Nothing of it. He makes the logo, and it's originally blue, and I was like, I don't really like blue. He made purple. I'm like, I like it. So we order some stickers, and then we get the bags. And I remember I have a picture on my Snapchat. It's like, ooh, I'm fancy. And it's like Caroline's cookies, the sticker on a bag. And I brought those to my friends, put them in their mailboxes. So it was just like.
And this is all through like Snapchat.
Yes. And no one's paying for anything. My mom's paying for the ingredients at the time.
Your mom's the best investor you got so far.
Yes. And so then I'm on the way back from Baton Rouge. I'm on the way back from New Orleans, spent the day there. We were just hanging out. And my brother-in-law was like, why don't you make an Instagram? And I'm like, no way. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, I'm just going to post my cookies on an Instagram. People are going to make fun of me. But after the 2-hour car ride, he convinced me. So I make my Instagram, and I just post. I would like to go see the caption. I think I was just explaining the cookie I posted. So I made like 3 posts. This is the Rolos cookie. This is the chocolate chip cookie. And the cookies looked a little different than they do now because I've perfected them a lot more since then. But a customer messages me, and she says, hey, like, do you sell these? Well, like, maybe I will sell them. It's kind of a good idea.
The Patty G Show is now proudly presented by Baton Rouge Regional Airport. Y'all, I fly exclusively Baton Rouge whenever I best can. And what they've got now since June of 23 is a nonstop flight from capital to capital, Baton Rouge Airport to Washington, D.C. You're able to make the round trip in one day. They've got the earliest flight, or even earlier than flying into New Orleans. You can fly to Baton Rouge to go from Baton Rouge to D.C., round trip one day. If you've got meetings in D.C., or you've got business gatherings, you definitely want to fly to Baton Rouge and go from capital to capital. They are a proud presenter. We are now brought to you by Baton Rouge Regional Airport. Thank you so very much for bringing them on as the latest sponsor of the Patty G Show.
Yeah, so I tell my mom, she's like, you want to sell them? I'm like, yeah, like, let me try. So I post on my Instagram story, and I'm like, orders are opening at noon on Sunday. Okay. Whatever that means. So they orders are okay. I guess I'm gonna take my orders through Venmo. How many cookies can I even make? Never wrote a recipe down until I actually opened my storefront. Don't do that, guys. So I open my orders on noon, and I get I say a different number every time because I honestly can't remember. I get X amount of orders very fast. This is so awesome. I probably know like half of the people, and the other half I don't know. So the morning of, I forget the day.
So and this
September
is like
9th?
To pay for your cookies now.
So these people are going to pay for my cookies. So open
now.
order. So this is the first time I ever paid for them. And funny enough, the customer who messaged me and said, do you sell the cookies? She actually never bought them. But thank you for the inspiration, because now Caroline's Cookies is what it is because of you. So my mom's like, fine, like you can sell the cookies. That's cute. And it's also, a way to make extra money. I was babysitting, but that was it.
Or start, paying for the supplies your mom's
Well, yeah, that was another part. So I think it was September 9th, I want to say, 2020. And it's like 5 or 6 a.m. and me and my sister are going to go on a bike ride before I bake the cookies. This is the first day I'm ever baking cookies to sell them. So I'd been baking obviously a lot.
This is like Monday.
But this is intimidating, yes, because the people have already paid for these orders. So now I have all these random customers who are expecting good cookies. So I get on my bike, we're going on a bike ride, I'm going to exercise like before I bake the cookies. You have that balance.
Right.
Well, I try to grab my phone to meet up with my sister because I didn't know where she was. We were meeting up in the middle, and I fly right off my bike into the pavement, bust my chin wide open. And so then I went to the ER anyways. My mom took a picture of me, and she always says, well, this is going to be a funny story if anything comes out of this cookie thing. And I guess she, I'm thankful again she took pictures, because I have a picture of me in the hospital bed like with a straight face.
Not looking forward to going bake cookies.
But what I did was I baked all those cookies and I actually delivered them. So I started off with delivery. I always forget to tell people that because it was such a short span of time, because the traffic was just eating me up. It was a waste of time. So I probably did that for like 2 or 3 weeks, the deliveries. But then I tell my mom, I'm like, Mom, I am wasting so much time driving in circles. I should have got an app that like made me a path. But anyways. So then we transitioned to, I continue to do orders on my Instagram. So I open them every so often. I think it was every Sunday at noon or something like that. Well, I get 10 more orders the next week, 20 more orders, 30 more orders. And it's the second I open them, y'all, my DMs are just like,
they're like
flooded. And so people would all message me at noon on the dot. And I would have to tell people that messaged me at noon on the dot, sorry, you didn't make the cutoff. All these people made it before you at the exact same minute.
So like you capped it at a certain number of cookies?
So say I could take 50 orders.
Okay.
I would do the 50 orders. I would get 100 in 1 minute. So my following was growing and growing and growing. And it wasn't just people that I knew. My mom's like, these are random people, Caroline. Like, we have no idea. These people who are coming to our house.
This person's not even in Lafayette.
No,
they're driving
it was
in.
bizarre. So I remember, I'm like, this is going to stop eventually. Well, it just grows every week. And it was just a crazy feeling. I remember eating lunch with my mom, and she's like, people actually like your cookies. I'm like, yeah, apparently, And my brother ends up making a website for me because it was kind of difficult to manage orders on Instagram. Well, then the website glitches because we have so many orders on the website. And then I got an opportunity to go to pop-up. So I did a pop-up at a boutique. And it was fine. We had a pretty good turnout. We sold out. I think I brought 300 cookies. Well, I start doing more pop-ups, bring 400, 500, 600, all the way to 1,000 cookies. And that's when the lines really started coming. And it was so much fun because before that, I was just talking to my customers through a phone, which was great and all, but you can only have so much personality and your brand is only so much through a phone. Well, when we do these pop-ups and these farmers markets, it was my mom and my brother and I, and it was so much fun. The adrenaline, like I would nearly black out. Like I was so anxious and nervous. We'd pull up to the boutique or the farmers market, and it was just a crazy feeling. I would look up at this line of 50 to 100 people like, they're here for me. They're here for my cookies, The farmers market also helped us reach just a great opportunity to reach people that we couldn't reach on social media. Right. And like our farmers market still talks about it to this day, how they would have to literally section off the area that I was in because the line was going to be so long. Like they couldn't just put me anywhere. Yeah.
They were like, okay, Caroline's coming, y'all.
Yes.
This is her spot. She's going to be way over here, away from everybody else.
Exactly. And so they said that they would vendors would ask, is Caroline going to be there this weekend? Because I wouldn't go every weekend. I think I would go once a month for a while. And they wanted me to be there because I would bring people, which was also amazing to help support other local businesses. And I met so many people through the farmers market, and it was fun to hear their stories. So, it's December of 2020. We do a Christmas farmers market. That line was insane. We sold out of that line. And at this point, my mom's like, okay, you're making like 1,000 cookies a week. You're making money. You need to start paying for your ingredients. So I opened a business account. I don't even know what an LLC is at this point.
So like this is 3 months in.
Yes.
And like where are you baking these?
In my mom's kitchen. And she redid it after. She waited till I got out to redo it, but it's so nice now. Anyways.
You're like, I was baking in the slums, and now you got this whole brand new kitchen.
Actually, I forget how old our house was, but one of our ovens was going out, and so they put in a double oven for me, which is, I'm very thankful for all the things my parents have done for me, because that helped me move a lot quicker, because when it's just one person making 1,000 cookies, it takes a while. They're really big. I forget. People don't realize like they're a big cookie.
It's not a little.
It's hard to know off of social media.
Yeah, like if you look at like an Oreo or like a regular cookie, like it's not small like that. No. It's a massive
They're
cookie.
Like 4 to 5 ounces each. It depends on the flavor. It's a big cookie. So my dad's like, you need to open up an LLC. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? So I figured out what that means and open a little account at our bank that my parents were at. and I start paying for all my ingredients and learning how that goes, and also learning how expensive ingredients are. My cookies were originally $2, and when I started paying for the ingredients, I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to charge a little bit more because this costs a lot more than I realized.
And where were you getting your supplies at?
So I was getting it all from like Target and Walmart. So I feel bad for people who were trying to get any of the ingredients I was using at the time, because I think I would just wipe the shelves. Still do that sometimes and laugh yet. But and then Costco. So Costco has such great prices, and they had everything that we needed at the time. So just Costco and Target.
So Costco and Target are supplying you. You're 3 months in. You're making 1,000 cookies a week.
Yep.
Like what? Like
so I'm doing a balance of like orders and of pop-ups in farmers markets. Now I don't know how things jump so quickly, but in I think April I need to get my months and dates straight. I'm sitting at my best friend Faith's house, and her dad, Mr. Brandon, we're talking about Caroline's cookies, and I'm explaining to him, like, Mr. Brandon, it's the weirdest thing. Like, all these people are lining up for my cookies. They're buying my cookies, this, and that. And I'm in my second semester of college. I forgot to mention.
Right. So you started at ULL?
Yes. I started at UL, like, simultaneously the same exact time I started Caroline's cookies.
Okay. And you're going in, I mean, obviously culinary, right?
Oh, marketing. I don't even know what I was doing. And the first semester of college was a breeze, I will say. But I'm going to tell you a story. So I have very bad social anxiety. So we get to my first class. I only had 2 classes on campus because it's during COVID, which I was like, thank God the rest are online. And we pull up to the class and I walk in, me and my friend Faith, like I said, and I'm like, Faith, you need to go in there and ask the professor if we have to introduce ourselves. She's like, Caroline, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, yes, you are. I'm too scared. So she walks in, she asks the professor, it's our UNIV class. She's like, do we have to introduce ourselves? He said, yeah, you just have to say your name and like a fun fact about you. So she comes out and tells me and said, drop the class. So that is how bad at the time my social anxiety was, and I battled that all throughout high school. So I never really talk about how much this business has brought me out of my comfort zone and how much it's developed me personally. But anyways, carrying back to the story. It's April. I'm telling Mr. Brandon, all these people are lining up for me. And I'm like, I'm kind of not really doing my schoolwork. I'm giving like 99% of my time to Caroline's Cookies, and I don't know what to do about this. I feel like I either need to give 100% to Caroline's Cookies or 100% to school. And I'm like, but if I stop Caroline's Cookies and I see someone else do it, and like I'm gonna hate myself for not pursuing what I had, what was so good. Like it was, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. What I had was so good in that exact moment. I was scared that if I finished my 3 years of college, I would go back to do Caroline's Cookies and I would have lost what I had.
Right. You had this momentum building.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
You're 7 months in.
Yes.
With all this momentum. You're selling out at pop-ups. Your mom's like, you gotta
get out of my house.
Decision,
at this point, my mom's like, my house is a mess. I'm a clean freak. She's a clean freak. I am a mess maker. So, Mr. Brandon, he has his college degree. He was a nurse anesthesiologist, and he is now an entrepreneur. And he looks at me. He's like, Caroline, I have this and this degree. And he was like, college will always be there for you. You can go to college at any age. He's like, but what you will learn hands-on in your business is things you will never learn in the classroom. Now, I will say the things that I've accomplished, I wouldn't have been able to do without Mr. Brandon. There's so many things that he's guided me through, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So he's like, drop out of college. Okay. So talk to my parents, and like, no, not gonna happen. And my mom's like crying.
So long as we're paying for the ingredients, you are not dropping out.
So my mom's like crying. I'm like, why don't you want me to drop out? And she's like, Caroline, you're so smart. And I can see what she's talking about, because she's like, you want to open a cookie shop? Like, come on, So my parents have always supported me in any way, and they could see how dedicated I was to it. And after 7 months of it being successful, they're like, okay, my dad told me, he's like, as long as you never stop learning. That's like his piece of advice to me.
This episode is proudly presented by Gage. Gage is a local company here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. For over 40 years, Gage has provided businesses with the very best telecommunications, IT, and standby power services available. Gage has a variety of services, including Gage Cloud Voice. It is the last phone system your business will ever need. You need to give your business the ability to be accessible anytime, anywhere, and with Gage's cloud-based phone system, you'll be able to accomplish just that. Not only do they have Gage Cloud Voice, they have fully managed IT services that are proactive network monitoring, 24/7, 365, help desk, business continuity. They are there for you. What you're also going to need is some cybersecurity. Gage is there to safeguard your business from potential cyber threats, even when you aren't aware they exist. Gage also is power and leaders in standby generators. They are the #1 Cummins dealer on the Gulf Coast and provide generators to homes and businesses of any size so you can keep life going. Gage, better connected, a proud sponsor of the Patty G Show.
Piece of advice to me. So drop out of college, which I didn't realize you actually had to go sit in the office and tell them why you were dropping out. I went to UL and I told them I'm dropping out to open a cookie shop. She's like, okay, good luck with that. If you ever need to re-enroll, here's how you do it. So she's like, okay, you're dropped out. So she must look at me now and be like, oh, wow, that's crazy. So we start looking at real estate in Lafayette, and I reached out to one of my close friends' dad owned Park Lafayette. So I reached out to him and I'm like, I want a space that like, I don't want to have a storefront that I have to manage because that seems too much for me. You just walk in straight to the counter. Like, there's nowhere to sit, super small. He's like, I got the perfect spot for you. So I go toward him, I'm like, this is not what we discussed. This is huge. Well, looking back, I'm very glad that that's the space that he gave me because we outgrew it right when we opened. It was too small right at opening. So we begin construction in the Lafayette location, and lucky for us, it was already a restaurant beforehand, so we didn't have too much construction to do, and I didn't know that much about meeting code. I didn't know you had to get a health department inspection. What are all these
health code things you gotta do
so
now?
Luckily it was already up to code for a restaurant, but I had to take a serve safe course online, so it was like, I don't know, 9-hour course, and it's like teaching me about how to keep your fish the right temperature and where to put your vegetables and how to make sure you don't get sick from your avocados. I'm like, well, I don't think I need to know any of this. And somehow I passed, and we passed all of our permits, and the permits were a breeze. That was all easy, but figuring out how to go from my parents' kitchen to a commercial kitchen, that was not a breeze. That was very difficult. So
like, what were you using from a gear side of things at your parents' house?
Yeah.
I've got a KitchenAid mixer. Okay.
So I actually originally was using my dad's little KitchenAid mixer. It was a little navy one. I think it's the smallest one that they have. Okay. And for Thanksgiving, I guess my dad just wanted to bless me with one. I don't usually get gifts for Thanksgiving, but around Thanksgiving, he got me the biggest size that KitchenAid would offer, which is still small. I think it only made 14 to 15 cookies. So I went from 15 cookies? Yeah. So I went from making like batches of 6 to 8 to 14 to 15. So that's what I was using on my parents' kitchen. And I was using a conventional oven. Yeah. And it was a double oven. So I could bake 6 cookies on the top, 6 cookies on the bottom. I could bake 12 at a time. So we buy all this equipment. I just find the cheapest brand that I can. Okay, so keep in mind I'm using the cheapest oven that you could probably find on the internet because, you got to stick with your budget. And I put the cookies in the oven. I'm like, this is going to be so easy. I make the dough the exact same. No. Took us 3 months and probably 3,000 wasted cookies. Apparently a commercial mixer is a lot harder to use. So I went from making 15 cookies to 60 cookies. And thank God my best friend's good at math because I had no idea how to scale up my recipe. So that was the first hurdle, was just figuring out how to make the exact product that I wanted. I thought that was nothing that I never expected to struggle so hardly with that. Our first oven we ever got actually went out right before grand opening. We had to get it replaced. It went up to like 600 degrees, which is not even supposed to do that. We had to call the fire department. I'm so afraid of fires. There were so many fun hurdles and I say it was fun because it was such a fun time. Like while we were doing construction, we had brown paper up on the walls. And so it was just like this private time that I got to experience with my brand that made me appreciate small businesses and made me so much more passionate about what I did. And thank God for my best friend. I always am so thankful for my entire village, but she spent night and day with me that entire summer of 2021 getting the cookie just to where it was. So once the product got right, I had to figure out, okay, what is a wholesale distributor? Like, I can't just keep getting things from Costco. I need like 500 pounds of flour. Where am I going to go? So we got a wholesale distributor, and then I'm also figuring out pricing. I'm like, well, now I don't get to keep all the money. I got to pay all these taxes. I got to pay rent. I got to pay insurance and payroll. And that is when I say I wouldn't have been able to do what I was able to accomplish without a business partner like I had. I was the whole creative pessimistic side, and he was the whole business optimistic side. So we're total opposites in the best way possible. And he's my best friend Faith's dad. So that's who my business partner is. And if I wouldn't have had his mentorship, I wouldn't have gotten any of my certificates or anything. I wouldn't have known what to got because there's no book that you open. It's like, here's how you open your little cookie shop. Right. So those were a very fun few months. So July of 2021 rolls around, and I'm ready for my grand opening, and I get COVID. So I'm like, okay, maybe that was a sign. So I spent 2 weeks in my house, just nervous and excited for my grand opening. And then we open August 14th, 2021 in Lafayette. Whenever I was sitting in the shop before we even began construction and looking at the numbers, I was like, I only need to sell 300 cookies a day to pay rent. And I was like, I think I only need 4 employees to make that happen. Not realizing, people get sick, they take off, they quit, whatever.
Right. You're expecting them to give the same amount of time and energy that you're going to give.
They're going to work 100 hours a week too, right?
Right, of course.
I always say if I knew what was coming my way, I probably would have never opened Caroline's Cookies because I would have been way too scared. So it was kind of good. I was oblivious. So we open up our grand opening. We have 4 employees and we have, I think it was either 2,500 or 3,500 cookies. Very big difference, but I don't remember. We're open from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. and we have a line that starts at probably 11 or 12, okay? So people are sitting, it is August. It's so hot.
Wait, so you have like 25 to 3,500 cookies.
Yes.
But you were planning to sell 300.
Well, for the grand opening, we prepped the whole week. I knew...
Oh, so you prepped enough for the week. Gotcha, okay.
No, so me and Faith prepped Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for Saturday. So we prepped all week. And the cookies are baked the morning of. So keep in mind, Faith is baking all of these at the time. We only had one oven that worked. So she baked 35 or 2,500 cookies in one day.
And how many can you roll through at a time?
45 per oven.
Per oven, okay.
So she had one. Shout out to her. That was pretty crazy. The kitchen got up to like 92 degrees, I think. It's a very small kitchen. Yeah. Probably bad conditions to work in. We fixed that since. So we open up with this insane line. We have, right before opening, I'm like, we're not going to meet the end of this line with the cookies we have. That's how many people were in line. So we did a 6 cookie limit. So that is where the cookie limits began. And for months we had, I get the chills thinking about it, this line that went, if you've seen Park Lafayette, went around the block. It blocked all the businesses. And the line would start early. We opened at 11. It would start so early. And, well, there is so many problems to solve, okay? And, like, this is absolutely insane. When is this going to end in the best way possible? Like, is this going to be forever? How is this? I was enjoying it, don't worry. But don't have enough staff at all. Our staff goes from 4 to 35 girls in probably a matter of 3 months, which you can imagine.
In 3 months?
You can imagine managing and training girls. I appreciate their patience because they were experiencing the creation of a new business in such a fast-paced, crazy way. So there were so many things going on. Our kitchen was too small. We needed more kitchen space. We need more staff. And then we also have this line that's blocking our neighbors. And, if you're paying this much money for this area, to be in this area, and customers don't even have a parking spot or they can't walk through your doors because Caroline's Cookies customers are camping out outside. So I knew I needed to fix that issue. And also my customers, we had 2 people faint. We literally had an ambulance come on the grand opening because a girl passed out and hit her head. She waited outside too long. She's such a sweet girl. We gave her free cookies. Okay. I know her name by name now. And then another girl overheated too. So I'm like, okay, on both ends, the customers and my neighbors, we need to meet. And also for my staff, it's very overwhelming to serve customers back to back to back to back for 5 hours. And it's not just like normal. It's like, it's an absurd amount of customers. So we come up with this idea called time slots. So basically there's 20-minute time slots and it's from like 11 to 11:20, 11:20 to 11:40, and 20 people per 20-minute time slot. So ideally you serve a customer every minute. And this also allowed for my staff to have a break because they would get really competitive. So like, how many customers can we check out per time slot? So they would do it in 12 minutes, for example. They would check out 20 people in 12 minutes and then they'd have a little break to frost cookies or just take a breather. And the way that worked was you would come outside our store and at 9 a.m., we would have a staff member with the papers and they pass out the papers and people, then a line starts forming for the papers. So now you have people lining up at 7 a.m. and it gets really competitive. So I post at like 10 minutes out, we're out of papers. So your little sheet, you'd have to come back and show our little cookie bouncer. So one of our workers' boyfriends, he would stand outside and he would check your time slot to make sure you had the right time slot. Time slots were awesome until the line for the time slot started happening. So my brother's like, how about we do it online? So then we do it online, our website glitches. So you can now go online and click time slot. You don't have to buy it or anything. It's free, but you have to get your confirmation email showed at the door. It sounds absurd. You're just getting cookies, right? It is so cool. And
like that's exclusive cookie
it is
club.
Exclusive. Like people come up to get cookies. I'm just like, do you have a time slot? And I go, what? I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. You have to sign up, which was hard because you have a lot of the older crowd too who had no idea what was going on and they really wanted to try the cookies because they saw it on the news. But our time slots would open at, say, 9 a.m., for example, on the website. 9:02, they were gone. All of them. What? It was crazy. We did that for a year. It was exactly a year. So the last time we did time slots was August 14th, our 1-year anniversary. So for a year, we had a line that was that long. And it's crazy because we still have a line very long, but luckily we have more staff and it's not as long. So then
Thank you so very much to Building 5 for becoming the latest sponsor of the Patty G Show. We are going to be filming once a month at Building 5. We're going to post about it on our social so you can come and visit with us. Building 5 is an excellent food establishment if you're into sharing boards and really getting a creative menu. Misty and Brumby have done an excellent job of creating an environment that's warm, welcoming, and inviting for every single occasion. Go on over to Building 5 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and tell them that the Patty G Show sent you.
So then also, I was fortunate enough to have no issue hiring, and we still are very blessed. Like, I see so many people experiencing hiring issues. I have maybe on one occasion had a girl like call in sick and not show up. Like, we have no one's quit on the spot. No one just doesn't. Like, we have girls that come in and they put in the work and they take pride in their work. And we have a list of girls who want to work for us. We've had a great time with our staff, and I've been very blessed. So we now have like 35 employees. So, I'm figuring out how to manage these girls. I'm typing out their schedule and notes, and they're like, how is this is so confusing to read, Caroline. I don't know how to take off. You forgot I took off. So I had to figure out how to work a scheduling app. There were so many minor things I was learning along the way. And like we mentioned earlier, my favorite way to learn a lesson is the hard way, apparently. But I really did learn them so well.
Not effective.
Yeah, and then the kitchen that we thought was way too big, me and my mom are standing there like, this is huge. Like, this is way too big. We outgrew it the first day we opened. So we were fortunate enough to get another kitchen space on the same property as us, and we still had that space, and we couldn't operate without it. That's now our full cookie dough prep kitchen. So our second kitchen that we have now is just for prepping dough. So that's what we do every day. While you see us working the front, we're also nonstop prepping in the back. And then we later on closed in part of our storefront. It kind of looks a little bit wacky. We have like a wall that doesn't go all the way up, but that's our frosting room now because we had nowhere to frost the cookies. We needed more. It's kind of a multi-purpose room. So we've just hit 2 years. I could tell this story forever because there's so many details. I never know which avenue to take. But 2 years later, we still have around 35 employees, and we're making, about 1,500 cookies a day. So it depends a day.
So 1,500 cookies a day.
Yes.
And you're
4 days a week.
4 days a week. Okay.
Yes.
And you're selling them out every single day.
There's probably a handful of times that maybe 3 or 4 times a month we don't sell out, and it'll be like 30, 40 cookies. So It's like, usually if you have one flavor left, nobody comes. So if it's like one flavor, if it's a variety of a come, but if there's like 40 of the same flavor, we just probably won't sell out. So that happens every once in a while.
So what do you do in that situation? You've got 40
it's a good question.
Flavors, 40 of one flavor.
40, like, it's never chocolate chip because that always sells that fast. Say it's like 40 everything brownie. One thing that I do pride myself in is all of our cookie dough is handmade, house made. It's hand weighed. Literally every single ball of cookie dough is hand weighed. We don't have any machines or anything like that, and it's always freshly baked. So if we have 40 cookies left over, if it was like a flavor that I would need to refrigerate, I would either deliver it that night or the next day. I'll deliver it to businesses typically. So sometimes I'll post a poll on my story. It's like, what local businesses would you like us to see delivered cookies to? And then I'll send a girl out and she'll go deliver it to all those businesses. Okay. So that's also another fun way because a lot of people can't leave during work to get cookies because we'll sell out before they get off of work. So it's an awesome way to bless our local businesses.
So y'all are operating basically like a zero waste policy.
Yes, I am.
As best you can.
I do not like to waste. Like, I will find any way to use every single frosting we have in that fridge and just not waste. Yeah.
So now that you've got this enterprise within Lafayette where you've got the scheduling app, I mean, what happened? Like, when you stopped doing the scheduling app, what happened after that?
So that was another curveball. I forget about all these. Like, it's so fun telling a story, remembering all these challenges that we faced in a fun way. It was great challenges to be facing, of course. But we stopped doing time slots after our 1 year anniversary because we realized that what was happening was people weren't necessarily interested in the time slots anymore. The demand had died down a little bit, but not too much. Don't worry, because it's still insane. But it was dying down, and just people weren't filling it up, filling them out anymore. Or they would fill them out and then not show up. It was just coming to the point where it was like, we have 35 girls and we have these 2 extra kitchens, and now we make enough cookies. Let's just drop the time slots completely. The only issue we had with that is so many people did not know we dropped the time slots. It was very hard to advertise. It was hard to get them to know in the first place, we have time slots. You can't come unless you have time slot. And then to undo it and say you don't need a time slot, that was like a 5-month process. So for those 5 months, I would say around 5 months. I'd say around for those 5 months, we're getting comments and calls and messages, and they're like, didn't come because I needed to book a time slot. Like, a lot of people didn't like it, or they just weren't coming. They're like, oh, you have to sign up for it. And it was just a lot of negative feedback, I will say, during that transition period. But once now customers know, you just walk right in. It's great. It just took a while to advertise every single day. No more time slots, walk in. No more time slots, walk in. And also for the first year, we had first half year, we had a 6 cookie limit. You could only get 6. You'd wait in this long line, I forgot to mention. You only got 6 cookies. Forgot to mention that. And then eventually it went up to 12 cookies. So about a year after opening, we dropped the limit completely. So it was hard to, relay to our customers this new information. You can just walk right in now and get as many cookies as you want. So that is how it is today. Now, for certain flavors, we still do limits. For king cake or Biscoff or any of our really popular flavors, like during king cake season, we had a limit of 2 king cakes per person cookies because that's how quickly
2?
They would go. 2. So it's pretty cool to see which flavors people go crazy for.
So I know you're prepping all day, and you'll have the different stages in your facility.
Yeah.
But are you ever replenishing as you go, or are they all baked? How does the baking work? If you run out of king cakes, for example, is that all the king cakes you got for the day, or are they back there consistently baking more?
That's a great question. So a lot of the things we faced at the beginning was customers saying like, why don't you restock? You know what I mean? And so how it works is all of our cookie dough is prepped the day before. So today's a Tuesday and we're closed. So this is our cookie dough prep day. This is where we really get ahead. So they're prepping from 6:30 to 6:30 today. So the first girl that got there, the first girls that got there was 6:30, and the last few girls that leave tonight will be 6:30. So they're still there. I'm talking too fast. They're still there prepping cookie dough. So what happens is, say they make 2,000 cookies today. We bake those 2,000 cookies tomorrow. When we run out of a flavor, it's out for the day. So like whatever they're prepping this day, we won't sell to the next day. We won't bake it till the next day. So it's always baked fresh the morning of. But if we're out of flavor for the day, that's it. So if we run out of king cake, that's it for the day. Whatever was prepped the day before is what we'll use the next day to bake.
So
that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it.
No, that makes complete sense. So they're prepping tomorrow's cookies today.
Yeah. So they're prepping Wednesday.
And they're constantly prepping every single day.
Yes. So tomorrow and Wednesday they're prepping for Thursday.
Gotcha.
So they're always prepping a day ahead, the dough.
So it sounds like you're doing okay in regards of covering your bills. Seeing the fact that you need a 300 to break. 300 was your break-even point, and you're selling 1,000 plus a day.
Yes, which is crazy though, because I was like, we only have 4 employees to pay. Now we have 35. I look at payroll. I'm like, what is going on? But I am very thankful to pay my staff very well.
Patty G Show is proudly brought to you by Mimosa Handcrafted Jewelry. Mimosa Handcrafted Jewelry is a local business right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They create handcrafted jewelry for everyday use, that special occasion, whatever it may be. Gentlemen, they've got amazing jewelry both for male and female. Everyone is their audience. You know, after years of experimenting with everything from ceramic jewelry, glass beads, and enamel, they've settled in on the ancient art of lost wax casting is their main form of creating their work. They cast everything in bronze, sterling silver, and 14 karat gold. Every step of the way is done here right in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Proud sponsors of the Patty G Show. Mimosa Handcrafted Jewelers. Get out there and tell them that Patty G sent you, and they're going to take great care of you on your next order.
My work environment was something I didn't really understand would be a thing, or that I would appreciate so much until I opened. I didn't understand the importance of a team. I just had babysat previously. I do wish I would have more experience. I think I'll make my kids work in customer service, but I didn't realize how close a team can get and how crucial it is to the success of your business. I know that sounds silly, but I work so closely with my staff and I appreciate them so much. And like I said, we raised the price of our cookies in, I think it was this January. And the second I raised it, I gave my staff a raise. And although it's a smaller raise, it's an hourly pay, but it was a significant raise for them. And so one thing that I'm very big on is just our work environment and hearing out our staff. And I think that's why we have no trouble staffing, is because I treat them like the humans they are. They're very well respected. They get, it sounds cheesy, but they get great breaks, free snacks, great scheduling, great off dates. I work with them very closely to make sure that their schedule fits them. Like I always say, most of them are in college. Your importance is like focus on school. And then I don't want them to miss things. Like if something comes up, an opportunity comes up the day before, I work really closely with them and we have a mutual respect. I try to not let them miss out on anything fun. But that's been one of the most fun parts of this journey, is working with my staff.
Yeah, I mean that for your industry and your business specifically, everything's so hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they're not sitting there watching. I mean, they're watching the mixing machine and the ovens, but you know, outside of that, they're dumping in everything. It's not this pre-mixed batter that comes in that they're then just scooping cookies.
Oh yeah, they can't mess up.
Right.
I mean, we do mess up, obviously, and we've created a great culture where if you mess up, you know, we speak up and it's okay. But it's crazy how many, like with baking, there's just so many opportunities to mess up, and so training on that was wild. I'm just now feeling confident in the product and the process of making it. The first year I was kind of hanging on by a thread, just hoping that everything was going right. The first 6 to 8 months I could barely step off of the mixer. I had to stay in that kitchen if I stepped out. So it's incredible being here now. I'm like, oh yeah, they're just making cookie dough. So it's amazing to see how far we've come. But the way we respect them, they respect me back, and they take pride in their work, you know.
And that's the hardest part as a business owner, right? Is being able to step off the line and trusting somebody else to make the product the same, if not better than you would. Because at the end of the day, that's what has to happen. you can't have your quality suffer.
Yeah, I don't want to taste a
stepping off
cookie and
the
know who
line.
made it. I want to just taste like Crown's cookies.
Yeah, you want to be like, oh, today's Wednesdays. Oh, yeah, Susie made the cookie, so it's probably a hair too salty. Or like, you don't want to know that if when you're building that brand and you're building that loyal customer, they expect it to taste a certain way from the first time they had it.
Consistency is a lot harder than I thought, especially with so many girls. I mean, you have 30 girls touching the mixer. You have to make sure that every girl is working the exact same. And that has been so much fun for me. Like, we have a staff meeting next Tuesday, and I'm having like the time of my life creating the plan for this meeting. I've really enjoyed that. I knew I would have fun baking, and I knew I'd have fun with my creativity and my branding, but I didn't expect managing to be so fun for me.
Yeah, it's like
but
a whole
obviously
different
I
side
have good
of it.
staff, so it makes it a lot easier. But it's cool to make an impact on college girls' lives and give them confidence and new skill sets. Just working with a team.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're building culture and development skills for teams, and then you're showing them how to face customers, and then also take responsibility when you mess up.
And problem solve. There's so many things that come up throughout the day, or just work with a team, because it's hard to work with a bunch of girls your age. Luckily we have no drama. We don't tolerate that, so it's been a great experience so far.
And then also like serving friends and family. Too.
Yeah,
it's totally different when you work at a job and you never see any friends or family.
Yeah,
but when you're working in a place where your friends and family frequent, you kind of, as college students and high school students, we have that tendency to want to go where our friends and family are, but to take that step back and be like, no, I'm got to be professional here. I've got a job to do. Y'all go and sit and enjoy your cookies, but I have to treat other customers the same way.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I know that we have a great product and we have a great brand, but I always tell them I don't even care if people walk out the doors hating the cookies. I hope they feel better about themselves, and I hope our customer service is memorable. So I really try to instill that in them, that our brand is how we make people feel. It's not the logo and it's not the product. It's like how people feel when they walk out the doors. So
absolutely.
we try to create an environment that you feel a part of, and we always say you don't know if that's the only smile that someone will get from you today or get from anyone today.
Yeah, look, that's anytime you can give somebody a smile, business or not, like you can make or break their day. I mean, you can make their day with a smile.
Yeah, I always do a little pep talk before. It's not the best pep talk. Sometimes I'm like, what did I just tell them? That was so embarrassing. I was just talking out of my head. But I was like, even if you're super overwhelmed, because I will say, like, it's hard to work a line and you have to decide what, it sounds cheesy, but what box to choose and what cookies to put in and get all the orders correctly and also interact with the customer. So I tell them, even if you can't make a conversation with the customer, at least look up and acknowledge them and give them a smile. Right.
And know that you're gonna work with them to the best of your ability, and they're gonna leave satisfied.
Yeah, because it is overwhelming working that line. I'll tell you, I like to do things myself a lot of times because I can get frustrated with them. Like, how'd you not do this? And then I go to do it myself, and I'm like, oh, it's impossible. That's why you didn't do it. Like, I'm like, how could you not fix that cookie in that box? And I go to try to do it myself. I'm like, okay, this is why you just need to take a step back. But it's hard to do what they do, so I appreciate them to give 100% all the time.
So you've built up this team and this culture in Lafayette, and now you're bringing it here to Baton Rouge, where we're at.
Yes.
So, I mean, what led up to that decision?
Okay, so this is kind of funny. Well, everybody was always asking about a second location and franchising, and I'm not interested in franchising. I will say that. And a second location, I kind of went back and forth with it. One day I would call my business partner. I was like, today went so well. We should open a second location. He's like, yes, let's like look at places, because he loves that. He was with Planet Fitness. He opened like 180 Planet Fitnesses with his business partners and his group of people, and so he's like really loves that franchise, and he just loves business in general. Anything that I'm going to do, he's going to love. He would be like, yes, let's do it. I would call him the next day crying, like, today was awful. I want to close. I literally was like, I there were so many times that I wanted to give up. I actually convinced him one time that we were going to close, and he said, fine, if you any decision, like if I want to close, he's not going to force me to stay open, but he's all right, we're going to close. So like there was a point where I was so done and I was so tired that I wanted to close. This was probably a couple months in. I was just frustrated with the consistency of the product, and I was lost. Yeah. But we've made it a long way. So eventually I called him and I'm like, okay, actually I'm ready to open location number 2. And I guess it got to a point where I felt like I could leave Crown's Cookies for a week and they would survive. And that's how I knew we were ready for location number 2, because the momentum of Crown's Cookies 2 years later is just as crazy. We still are just as busy. We're selling just as many cookies and people are just as excited. So I'm like, if this can survive 2 years later, then we're fine. We're gonna be okay. So I'm like, let's do Houston. He's like, okay, well, the first thing you have to do is go drive through the city, get a feel for it. We drive through Houston and the Woodlands, and I'm like sick to my stomach. We go home and no one talks about it again. I didn't have a good gut feeling. I always say when I toured the Lafayette location, I had a great feeling. I'm not the most confident person in the world. I've come a long way, but I was confident about it. I was excited. Did not feel that way. When I went to Houston, I was terrified. So fast forward to Easter, I get a phone call from someone from Perkins Row. Like, will you come check out this location? I'm like, no, I'm not interested in Baton Rouge. Like, are you kidding me? That's an hour away from us. And I was like, Baton Rouge is just, Baton Rouge.
I mean, like, you were looking at Houston, though.
Yeah.
Which is, like, more than an hour away from Lafayette.
Well, no, I was like, Baton Rouge is too close.
Oh,
so I'm like, Baton Rouge is just like, ugh. So that's how I felt. So anyways, my business partner was like, well, just give it a shot. Let's go toward it. We go toward it. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to lie. Like, I really like this. It reminded me of that same feeling that I felt in Lafayette. The Perkins Row itself is kind of similar to Park Lafayette. It's a little more advanced, I will say, but I got that same feeling, and it felt right. But I toured 2 other places in Baton Rouge before I made a decision on Perkins Row. I toured the 2 other places. I was like, these are just like basic spots, and I wasn't interested in them. So then we move forward with the Perkins Row location, and I will say with location number 2, I'm getting a lot more on the business side. With number 1, my focus was just to get the product and the brand, and not as much the business side out. That was more my business partner's job.
Well, I mean, you're going from your
home
mom's
bakery.
kitchen.
Yeah, so we had to
you're going
divide
from
up the
your home
work.
bakery. Like, you got to totally revamp your style, your recipes.
Like, I didn't look at the
everything.
numbers as much as I do now at the beginning, because my business partner said it would have just overwhelmed me. It would have like really intimidated me and made me nervous. So I waited a few months to get really into that. But so with this location, I have had a lot more fun getting in a little more into the process, the behind the scenes. Like, obviously I was a part of it all, but diving deeper into it. So we signed a lease, which was, when did we sign that? I should know that date, but it was sometime this summer. Signed the lease, and we started construction. It's going to be in Perkins Row. We just finished demo, and we're starting construction right now. Like I said, we're looking at a quick construction, a lot quicker than we thought. I'm not going to say any like official dates, but I'm hoping to open by the end of the year. I don't want to put anything out there.
Yeah, so like whenever we release this show, it should
Potentially,
line up right whenever y'all open.
Yes, we should be like finishing up training, which I'm excited to do a better job at training this time. I'm really excited for that. I'm excited to take all the knowledge that I've learned from number 1 and make location number 2 hopefully even better. Yeah. They always say the jump from 1 to 2 is the hardest, and I really hope it's not, because I think 1 will always be harder for me, because I knew absolutely nothing. I mean, I was 19. I opened up at 19. Like, you only know so much at 19. You're only so mature. And obviously, I'm not that much mature at 21.
You couldn't
have a
even
lot more growing to do.
You couldn't even make like an alcoholic cookie.
No, couldn't even do that. Couldn't even celebrate with a drink legally.
Thank you to Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge for making this show possible. Nick Pentis is a past guest. We love having him on. Listening to him talk about the culture they have over at Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge is really an incredible thing to hear. How they treat not only their employees, but every customer that walks through the door. You are more than just a number to them. They're going to give you that white glove concierge service every step of the way. They're going to make you feel like family and take what can be a stressful time in people's life, shopping for a car. They're going to make it so enjoyable and so pleasurable. You're going to want to go back there time and time again for every new vehicle. Thank you so very much for Mercedes-Benz of making this show possible.
Legally. Anyways, so here we are, opening location number 2. I'm hoping to, everybody keeps asking like if we'll have the same flavors and the same look of the store. I want to copy and paste. Everything that we're doing in Lafayette is working, so why change anything? Obviously, I want to go make it a little better. I'm hoping to make the actual storefront a little bit cuter, because we have, some bigger budget this time, but just going to copy and paste. So what you've seen in Lafayette, we'll have in Baton Rouge, and it'll be the same great product.
And I think that's the best way to make a step like you're stepping from 1 to 2, is to keep that brand image the same.
Yeah.
Keep the brand image, the product, all exactly the same, to where no matter where people go, they're going to get the same Caroline cookie, whether they're in Baton Rouge or Lafayette. It's not like, oh, well, the Baton Rouge location
is so much better.
It's so much better because they have this, or, oh, no, the Lafayette, the OG is way better than Baton Rouge.
I want to blindfold you, and you're like, oh, I can't tell.
Right, exactly.
But I forgot where I was going with that. I just lost my train of thought for the first time. What were you saying?
So moving into Baton Rouge, the second location, that process, that decision.
Yes. And I think that, it's not that I was getting bored, because I'm definitely not bored, but I was ready for a new challenge. I like a good challenge, and I felt like my business was capable of 2 businesses, and I would have regretted saying no to this opportunity. The momentum is still there, like you said, 3 years later. I mean, 2 years. Well, it is 3 years since 2020. 3 years later, so I really wanted to hop on what we had right now, and I felt like I would not be screwing over my staff in Lafayette. They're going to do a phenomenal job. They're excited. They're confident. And then also everything was just right time, right place. My best friend, Faith, who I've been mentioning this whole time, just graduated from UL in finance. So she will be running our Lafayette location and taking it over, and you won't notice a difference. She's going to do so great. The product is going to taste the exact same, and hopefully the service will be even better because she's more outgoing than I am. So you won't notice the difference there. It was just great timing and everything felt right, and I trusted that gut feeling, and so hopefully it'll lead me in a good direction.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you've been kind of teasing the Baton Rouge market for a while now.
Yeah.
By doing
it was a
these
long
pop-ups.
process. And so while construction is happening, we started doing pop-ups, and I was like, oh, we'll just do one, pop-ups we did in 2020, and they were so much fun. And I always thought to myself after we opened the Lafayette location how I'll always miss pop-ups because of just how much fun they are. Well, now we've done like 5 or 6 pop-ups here, and we sold out at every single one. And I cannot tell you, I mean it truly, I did not expect a line because I'm like, I'm an hour away from home. There's no way like these people in Baton Rouge know this same like get in line for Countess Cookies thing. Right. But let me tell you, y'all know what's up because y'all have showed up at every single pop-up an hour, 2 hours before with a line and sold us out.
Oh, I have a coworker who they have not missed a pop-up of yours here in Baton Rouge.
That's crazy. I'm starting to recognize faces. And like I said, I'm not extremely confident. Like if you eat a cookie in front of me, don't do it. Like whenever somebody's eating a cookie in the storefront, I walk in the back. I don't know why. It makes me so uncomfortable. And so when people come back in our doors, I'm like, okay, well they must have actually meant it when they said they liked the cookie. Yeah. So seeing people regulars now at Baton Rouge pop-ups is so exciting. I'm like, oh my goodness, they actually like the product.
So how do you go about picking these pop-ups? I mean, because you're not doing it at like farmers markets. You have like boutiques.
Mm-hmm. So far, everyone's reached out to us. On our Instagram, they've all DM'd us, and I'm trying to do a different range of location and businesses to meet different crowds. So we kind of pick and choose based off of our dates available and the crowd that the business reaches and where they're located. So right now, our last pop-up will be, I think I scheduled it today, October, it's either like 27th, 26th, 28th. That'll be our last pop-up before we open up. So excited for that. It'll actually be in front of our storefront. Nobody knows that yet, but it'll be our first pop-up in front of our storefront. But I'm really going to tease the inside of the store because nobody's going to see it till the grand opening.
So
it's all taped up.
You're going to tease the inside as in like let some people in?
So we'll have a soft opening, but that'll be family and friends. But we'll keep the paper up like we did for our grand opening. Nobody knew what it looked like until we took the paper down. And this one, the what's it called? The mock-up for it, I don't remember the official word, is really good. Like it's going to look very, very cool.
So in doing all of this, you've kind of built up this demand through social media.
Yeah.
I mean, you started on Snapchat, then you made an Instagram after a 2-hour ride convinced by your brother.
Yeah.
How are you able to manage this social, and what has the social side of things been like for you?
Like social media?
Yeah.
I really love to do social media. Not that I'm necessarily good at it, but I actually still make all of our posts and all of our captions and all of our stories. Faith is going to start posting on our Lafayette stories, and I'm training her to do it just like I would so that you won't even notice the difference. But it's not been hard for me to keep up for some reason. I guess I just I created a routine out of my parents' kitchen, and I made that routine carry over into my business in a storefront. And throughout the day, I just remember to post. I remember to post stories, and it's just something. My brother-in-law was telling me, he was like, your brand is a 19-year-old girl. Like the captions and everything is a 19-year-old girl. It's me. So it's like, it's easy for me. I always say my business is like my personality into a business. And so I haven't had any troubles keeping up with social media. I don't know if that'll change in the future. And a lot of people tell me to get like a social media manager, but that is one thing I haven't given up yet that I still like to do.
Well, it's like you're still the face of the brand.
Yes,
you're
exactly.
still the name behind the brand.
I mean, our story is half of our business. I know our product is good and I trust it fully and I love it because I eat them all day. But I know that people love to be a part of a story and a brand, and ours is a good one to be a part of.
Well, especially in Louisiana, right?
Yes.
Like you look at the big giants that came out of here.
Yeah.
What is one of the main things that they all had in common was they all had a story.
Yeah.
They had a unique beginning that made people just instantly drawn to them.
Yeah, because people like having things to relate to too. They like seeing your failures and your successes and hearing your story because it's a community thing. It becomes personal.
Exactly. They like being able to say, wait, I have the same oven Caroline had.
Yeah.
Or wait, I have the same mixer. I went to the same school.
Yeah.
You start building up these similarities. It's like, well, of course I've got to go support her. Like, she's one of the same. Like the company is her, and she is just like me, And
also, I love to see a face behind a business. All of the small businesses in Lafayette, the business owners are wonderful and they do a great job at their business, but it's just fun to see them working and enjoying their business and their brand and enjoying small business.
Yeah, and they do what they can to promote other small businesses as well. I mean, we have like this push of small local businesses here in the area, and it's like, how can we help lift them up? And during COVID, it was just like an oversaturation of that. Like, how can we really help
I think
these
COVID, there was a
up?
lot of bad that came out of it, of course, but there was also a lot of good, and one of that is a new appreciation for community and supporting small businesses because it takes the entire city, it takes a team, small businesses can't survive without us. So
Yeah.
and there was a lot of small businesses during COVID who posted in Lafayette like that they were struggling, and it was crazy to see the overwhelming amount of support after that to help keep them in business.
Yeah, and people try to figure out a way to help whenever they can.
Yeah.
So for your business, though, it's Caroline's Cookies.
Yes.
But it's not just one flavor of cookies. So what,
I always forget to talk about
what
my
is
product.
the offering? What's the product?
See,
yeah. What's the product? What do you sell?
I forgot to mention, y'all, that I make thick and gooey cookies. They are big. They are 4 to 5 ounces. It depends the flavor and what it's stuffed with and what it's topped with. Man, I always forget to talk about my cookies. They're so good, y'all. Okay. Anyways, they're huge. They're funny looking. A lot of older people like to say they look like biscuits. They think it's so funny. Anyways, I guess it kind of does look like a biscuit, but it's this. It looks like a ball of cookie dough. Like it's huge. We have 4 staple flavors. So we have chocolate chip. It always is. It's our best seller because it's like safe go to. You know, you can always get it for someone. They're gonna like it. We have cookies and cream, so it's like white chocolate chips, semi-sweet chocolate chips, and Oreos, and vanilla sprinkle. It's exactly what it sounds like. And then Circus is it's great for people who don't love actual chocolate. It's white chocolate, golden Oreos, and the frosted animal crackers. So those are our 4 staples. But over the last 3 years, I've created over 50 recipes. I absolutely love to make cookie recipes because I get to eat the cookies all day long. But we have over 50 cookies. We have everything from like caramel cheesecake to strawberry Pop-Tart to pumpkin spice, worms and dirt. I can't even think of my flavors. There's so many. Brownie sundae. We have an insane amount of flavors. So every month, at Caroline's Cookies, you can find our 4 staple flavors. They don't have frosting or anything like that, but they're still thick and gooey, so just letting you know, it kind of tastes like cookie dough in the best way possible. And then we also have 2 new flavors every single month. So this month in September in Lafayette, we have an oatmeal cream pie cookie and a peanut butter Oreo cookie. And then we also have 2 throwback flavors. So every month we have a total of 8 cookies. So you're bound to find a flavor that you love. They're always baked fresh. And then our throwback flavors this month are a little bit crazy because sometimes I have weird flavors. We have an everything brownie cookie. It's a brownie cookie with potato chips, pretzels, M&Ms, marshmallows. And then we have a customer's choice cookie, which is really fun. I actually put polls on my stories and my Instagram stories, and our customers created a flavor. So that was pretty crazy.
So are you like saving these recipes somewhere, I hope?
Yes. I actually never wrote my recipes down when we were at my house, and they were all just in my brain. So like 2 or 3 of them I don't know the recipe for, but I somehow memorized them all. Isn't that crazy? And I would have random pieces of paper at my house that would have the recipe on them. And luckily my mom is organized, so she would find them for me. But now I have them all in a safe place.
So is there gonna be like a Caroline's Cookies recipe book?
For the public?
Yeah.
No. Secret.
So it's all secret recipes.
Yes, it's very, very top secret.
So, but you do a little bit more than just 50 cookies is a lot of cookies.
Yes.
To make.
I think it's like 55 now. And I try to have a balance of cookies with frosting, cookies without frosting, cookies with filling. And then every month when I come out of flavor. So this month we have peanut butter Oreo, and that one has chocolate. And then oatmeal cream pie doesn't have chocolate. So you'll always, and then my new flavors too. One will be chocolate, one will be not chocolate. Because not everybody likes chocolate for some reason, but... Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't understand those people.
Me either. My brother is one of them.
Like my father-in-law is that.
It's just the weirdest thing.
No chocolate. Not even like dark chocolate over milk chocolate.
Oh, wow.
No chocolate
I'm not a big dark chocolate girl. And I will say a lot of people say our cookies are sweet, and they are because, I like a sweet cookie. But it's my idea of a perfect cookie. It's a thick and gooey cookie, and I think that people are going to find flavors they love here in Baton Rouge. And we also now, I don't know how soon we'll offer this in Baton Rouge depending on demand, but we offer cookie cakes, and it's not like any you've seen before.
Yeah.
We have some pretty cool designs that we do on them, but it's a very thick and gooey cake. Like, you've seen cookie cakes and they're really, really thin. These are thick. Like, your slice looks a lot smaller because it's so thick. We also offer delivery and catering.
So the thick cookie cakes are my favorite. That's like,
me too.
My mom has been making me one since I was a little kid, and now my wife has transitioned
Wait,
to take
that's
over
awesome.
that role. I've had a cookie cake
I love
every
birthday
year.
traditions.
It's like every year they say, what do you want? I'm like, you know what I want. You know the cake I want. You got to make the cookie dough from scratch and make the cookie cake.
Yeah.
And then you just do some chocolate icing. It's very simply
yum.
decorated, but it's a homemade cookie cake is like what I have every year.
Yeah, and like, when you get, I love Great American, don't get me wrong, because their sugar cookies my favorite, but you can get like sugar cookie or like chocolate chip from them. But we have like this month we have 8 cookie cake flavors, so you can get any of our cookies in. Like, you can get an oatmeal cream pie cookie cake.
Oh, you can get like a cookie cake flavor.
You can get any flavor that we offer this month. You can get it as a cookie cake. So like our peanut butter Oreo, you can get a peanut butter Oreo cookie cake with peanut butter frosting. So that's pretty cool and unique that we offer so many flavors. And then also something that I forget to talk about is wait, I just lost my train of thought again.
So the cookie cakes and the flavors are the same. You have 8 different ones.
I forgot to mention another thing that we do at Caroline's Cookies is we're really big on holidays and holiday events. So I'm hoping to bring that to Baton Rouge too. I love to buy all the decorations at Target and Walmart and decorate the crap out of our store. So Halloween is coming up, and we turn everything on our Instagram to Halloween mode. Our entire store is like decked out head to toe it turns into, and which is fun because purple's our color, so it goes well with Halloween. And all of our flavors are Halloween themed, and then we'll also throw like a Halloween party. The first year we did it, there was a 2-hour wait. People waited 2 hours in their Halloween costumes
to go to like a Caroline
yes,
cookies
in line
party?
for cookies. And there was a special flavor that night. It was the red velvet, and you would spin a wheel. You got to spin a wheel and get a free cookie if you dressed up. That's why everybody dressed up.
Oh,
and then for Christmas, we did a sweater party. We're gonna do like a cookie cake decorating party for kids this Christmas, and then we're doing a taste testing event. I really like to have fun events at the shop. Like we had a back to school bash where we fundraised for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. I like to do events and I like holidays because I like to decorate and make flavors based off of the decorations.
Well, it's great. It's like this whole brand is like there's different parts of it. There's different elements.
Yeah, it brings something to look forward to. Like you know what flavors are coming Halloween, you know the decorations are coming, and it's also something to look forward to when you've been through the summer with no holidays. And then Mardi Gras season is huge for us because we do king cake cookie cakes and king cake cookies. So we have king cake cookies. They're a work in progress. I mean, not a work in progress. They're a process. You have to twist them. Like we braid them like an actual king cake, and they're really tiny. But now we started offering king cake cookie cakes. Like I've never seen that before. So our Mardi Gras season was so insane this year. The line was berserk the whole month of February.
Well, now it's like a whole different component of Mardi Gras where you normally get king cakes, and now it's like we can get king cake cookies.
Because you know how you go around and try all the king cakes. Well, now there's a new one to try.
Of course. So now you got to have like a king cake competition and submit yours to be part of it.
We did that with the News 15 in Lafayette. It was fun.
So when you decided to add the cakes, that's a different element than cookies. It's still the same mindset of a cookie. It's still the same style and the flavoring and everything. But I mean, what kind of made you decide to start adding in cakes to the mixture?
So like I've said, I was inspired by like Todd Graves' One Love. Always have keep it simple. So I knew when I opened Caroline's Cookies that I only wanted to offer cookies in some form. I didn't want to offer cakes or cupcakes or any other pastry really. And I'm probably not that great at them anymore. No. We're a cookie shop. And I always knew I wanted to do cookie cakes. And I might have jumped the gun a little, but got too excited. And I just started offering them in December. They weren't even on the website. You had to order through my email. Like it was just, Caroline, you could have probably waited a little more. Sometimes I get a little bit too excited. So in December of 2022, we offered them. And I don't know what made me want to offer them. I think I practiced and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Like I love baking at heart, obviously. And decorating it was so fun. So then I posted it and we got an overwhelming amount of orders for Christmas. I think we had like over 75 cakes one day in February for Valentine's Day.
75 cakes for
Cookie
Valentine's
cakes.
Day?
And luckily they were minis, but I only had so many pans was the problem. But we've had, I have had
when the smallware
This is what happens when you
factor.
don't think things through, when you jump the gun. But cookie cakes have been so fun. We had bunny cookie cakes. We're going to have Christmas tree cookie cakes. Excuse me. We had bunny, pumpkin, Christmas tree. We had something else. Football cookie cakes. So we also do shapes, which is fun.
So you like fully customizable from the cookie cakes.
Oh yeah, color, frosting, shape, flavor.
And so you also offer like catering, like for large orders.
Yes, so there's a discount. The cookies are $3.50 each, and like I say, they're big. So, but if you do catering, it's 30 to 300 cookies, and then they're $3.15 each. And the fun thing about catering is you can get any flavor off of our menu. So we have a whole list of flavors which you can't get in store all the time. But if you order catering, you can choose from whatever menu.
And do you have to pick
flavor.
one cookie for your entire catering orders, or
you can split it up? But I think I always forget. It's either a 15 or 20 minimum. Okay. So like if you got 40 cookies, you could get 2 flavors.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got so many different things.
It's so fun.
On.
I know. I have a lot going on at once. I thrive off of chaos, and I love to stay busy. I'm going to continue offering new things, and I have a lot of things in the works of the next upcoming years of different forms of our cookies. So right now we just have cookies and cookie cakes, but I'm going to continue to stick with the cookies just in different forms.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you have. I'm very excited to have you in Baton Rouge.
I'm so excited to be a part of the Baton Rouge community. I've been able to discover a new part of Lafayette and new love for Lafayette, owning a small business there. We've been able to give back to so many families and organizations, and also meet so many awesome people in Lafayette and pair up with small businesses in Lafayette. There's just so much more to Lafayette than I realized now that I run and own Caroline's Cookies. I'm excited to see that side of Baton Rouge and become a part of y'all community.
Yeah, we're very welcoming and excited to have you.
I'm like overjoyed with excitement. So
well, good. Well, before we get out,
brand new Falia mobile app. We took all the same tech that's helped hundreds of people sell their homes themselves and packed it into an easy-to-use app for your phone. When you download the Falia mobile app on either the Apple or Android App Store, you'll immediately be able to see the power of this game-changing tool. From the seller's dashboard, you can navigate to all the information that you need. We intentionally separated everything into key groups, such as tasks to be completed, buyer leads for your listing, and contact information for everyone involved through closing. When you get an offer on your property, you can simply review and respond all within the app. No matter where you are in the world, you'll be able to monitor everything that's going on with your property from listed to sold. It's truly the power of Falaya in the palm of your hand. Download the app and see for yourself. Falaya, it's real estate reimagined.
Good. Well, before we get you out of here, we do have 4 questions we ask every guest on the show.
I'm nervous.
So, first one is, what is something you did as a kid you wish you could still do today?
Okay. Okay. Well, it would be one of 2 things. Either not have to clean up after myself because I'm super messy, and my the one thing, my mom can't turn on the oven, but she can clean like a beast. And so I would literally wake her up at 2 a.m. and be like, Mom, I'm done baking. And she's like, oh, you know, when you wake your mom up and she's
yes,
I'm like, can you help me clean the kitchen? And I'll kind of just stand there and like clean things off a little bit because I am not good at cleaning. So probably not cleaning up after myself. And then like eating as much bad food as I wanted to. I would love to eat so bad. Like I would like to just eat sugar all day, but you know, I can't do that anymore. One of those 2 things.
Those are both great. And especially with your line of business, both of those are really hard to do. So you have gone from baking in your mom's kitchen, delivering cookies inside of mailboxes, to opening up a storefront in Lafayette, to building a team of 30 plus employees. Now you've got a Baton Rouge venue coming soon, if not already by the time we air this.
That's
what
crazy
are
to think
3
about.
lessons you have learned throughout that process?
Oh no, it's kind of a lot of pressure. Okay, 3 lessons. A lot of lessons, but what would be the 3 biggest? Maybe the first one would be being okay with change, and understanding that the plan that you had is not going to necessarily be the plan that unfolds, and being able to pivot quickly, because that's what we have had to do a lot. So being okay with change. Another one would probably be being okay with being wrong. So I am very hard-headed and stubborn, and I've had to step back and say, hey, I was wrong. This whole entire situation that I've caused was my fault. So being okay with pivoting and changing, and then being okay with being wrong. Those are 2 lessons that I've learned. And then also the lesson of being a part of a team and teamwork, and not just working for yourself, working for something bigger than that, like stepping back and looking at it as a whole. Yeah. I don't know if those are good lessons, but
those are
on
all
the
great.
Spot, I never can think of good things. I'll probably go home and think of them.
Just text them to me. We'll
Okay,
put them up in the notes.
You can add it over there.
Caroline's got her 3 extra things. But no, those are all, absolutely, I agree with all 3 of those. They're fantastic. So even though you're not a native of Baton Rouge, what is something you're most excited about coming to Baton Rouge with your business?
Okay, I keep telling everybody this. I don't know if this is like cheesy, but I'm excited to eat all y'all food, because you'll have so many restaurants that we don't. Literally every pop-up that I've been to, I'm like, so where should I go eat? I love to eat, and I like to try small businesses that serve food. And like I said, I listen to all your podcasts that involve food. That's how I am. I just like to eat, so I'm excited to try all food.
We've got plenty of restaurants.
I know. I've
here.
already tried so many. They're good.
Good. Well, if you need some recommendations,
I'll
get you a map. And
I know. I need to go to Building 5. You said to go last time, and I love boards, so I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah, Building 5's boards. They're
like I said, I made the charcuterie boards. So like I have a love for boards.
Exactly. And telling you, go there and try.
I definitely will.
You won't be sorry.
I'm excited.
So for the final question, what can I do to help you?
Oh gosh. I guess just help tell everyone you know about Caroline's Cookies, and let them know that we're coming and who we are and what we do. Just spread the word. That's what I'm trying to do right now. My goal is to just spread what our brand is and what we offer.
You got it. Well, we'll do our very best with that.
And you're helping me with this podcast. This was so much fun.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming and making the drive.
I appreciate it.
Welcome to the Baton Rouge community.
I'm excited. Hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Oh yeah, we'll be doing lots soon.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for coming on, Caroline.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody else for listening or watching, whatever platform you're consuming us on. I really appreciate it, and the guests do as well. Look, whenever they get here, or if you're looking for a pop-up, follow them on social media, check them out, and let them know the Patty G Show sent you. And yeah, Perkins Row, Caroline's Cookies, they're coming, y'all, and they're coming in a big way. So this has been the latest rendition of the Patty G Show. Thank y'all so much. We'll see you on the next one. And we're done.
Yay.
We're out.
That was okay. I think.
Thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Lake Men's Health Center with Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group. Guys, I know it's tough to get out and go to the doctor. I know it's challenging to find time in our busy days, but I promise you, signing up to be a part of this group with Dr. Curtis Chastain and Dr. Tyler Boudreau. You won't regret it for several reasons, but most of those being the fact of the time it saves, where you're able to get in on the same day, get that appointment done, and spend that time you need to talk with them about what your health goals and concerns are, as well as ensuring that the financial investments you have, you will be able to live out and see those come to fruition. So if you're an investing guy, you know all about and planning for the future and investing in the future. There's no other more important thing to invest in than your health. Make sure you go check them out, Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group Men's Health Center, and tell them Patty G sent you. McLavy's Ltd, a proud sponsor of the Patty G Show, has been serving the Baton Rouge area proudly for 40 plus years. Gentlemen and ladies, if you're shopping for your man, there is no other place in the Baton Rouge area to get your clothing, whether it's game day needs, everyday needs, business attire, formal attire, whatever you want. Go over there, see Frank and Ashley. It's a father-daughter duo. They do incredible things in their store. They will outfit you from as simply a shirt that you need for one evening or all the way to a full wardrobe overhaul. They're going to take care of you every step of the way, and be sure and let them know that Patty G Show sent you.
Imagine taxiing on a plane looking toward the end of the runway. It seems so far away, it's even hard to see it. And that's what the concept of retirement probably felt like when you were in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, way far in the distance, not visible or even a concern. But as you turn 50, something happens. Retirement suddenly seems like something real, something not too far away. In your 50s, you are rolling down the runway. Retirement is getting closer and closer, faster and faster, weeks and months zipping by. But are you even ready for a successful takeoff to retirement? Fear not, there's still runway left. But the time is now. Time to make progress and time to get a plan. The Runway Decade will help you get organized, get energized, and give you the direction you need to take off to your desired retirement. The Runway Decade, building a pre-retirement flight plan in your 50s.